Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh damn! Look at that.
I carry by me.
That's the one you were talking about.
Yeah, it was like one of their other triple changers. I always thought
It's
always stood out to me.
It's heavy as fuck.
Doesn't stand for shit.
Hmm.
Well, he does kinda. You gotta fuck with him.
Is that the same one, Dave? Which one is
Look
that
at
one?
Dave. Dave's got it too. Look at that.
This thing, right?
Now I don't have to even think about
Oh,
it. Yeah,
he got it. Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
stickers on it.
yeah. The repro labels for that I thought were always
I
pretty
bought
good looking
this
too.
from Bobby at a NJCC like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had it, and I was like, "Should I buy it?" And then he was like, "For you, you want this?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I think I paid like $50 for it." You know?
Someday I'm gonna stand up all these records next to each other.
That's how I have mine.
Man.
He's with the record. He's still the biggest one too. I mean, but not by much yet. I feel like he should be a lot bigger.
Which Roadbuster did you
So
get?
yeah, which ones do you have, Dave? If you're saying you got like a record show, so which figures do you have? Like company?
I have all right. So I have
Burn
the MMC Roadbuster. I have
So
the
flip it on and make that the bottom.
Hey Dom, we're live by the way.
He's
You wanna go find your chest
giving
back?
he's giving it directions. Like this is the
I muted him.
1950s.
I'm
You got to put it in for 30 seconds, honey, and then flip it over and put it in for 15 more. All right, so I have the MMC Roadbuster. I have the Fans Project Broadside. I have the MMC. Damn man, a world. Oh, what's his name?
Spartan.
No, a Whirl.
Yeah.
Whirl, right?
Heli-
Whirl.
helicopter.
yeah.
Yeah, Whirl.
Then I
forgot.
have the Generations Springer.
Mm-hmm.
I have the MMC Spartan. I have the Mech Idea Top Spin and Twin Twist.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
And then I
Nice.
have last but not least the Fans. Not it's what company is this? Fuck. All right, they do I forget the name of the company, but they do like offset shit. A lot of like the video game Transformer shit they do. What's the name of that company?
Planet X.
Planet X.
Planet X fucking Perceptor.
Oh, nice.
The one that, he's like all armored up kind of.
Yeah,
Oh.
He looks like he has grenades on him. and shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave, mine is really, really close to yours.
Mhm.
Except for the Perceptor, I went with that like X Transbots Mugen scope, whatever, that little one, remember?
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I got that because he has the sniper like head, like the eyepiece and the rifle.
hmm
And I'm throwing in my Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus in there with the upgrade kits, because I just feel Ultra Magnus was a wrecker. I think he hung around with him, right? Remember when he was there?
Yeah,
with
he did.
Verity?
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going by memory because I don't have them all up, but that little guzzle thing from
Mhm. I know what you're talking about.
who was that? Mech Ideas or some
I
shit?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
So we're pretty much on the same wavelength there. I tell you, man, that MMC Roadbuster looks nice, but as soon as you pick it up and try to move those arms, I immediately want to fucking throw it across the room. I hate
really?
Mm-hmm.
You can't fucking pose those shoulders.
I don't know, man. I think you need some help with that.
Why don't you? pick
I'm
it
gonna go
up?
grab it. I'm gonna
Go
grab
grab
it.
it.
Let me see. Yeah.
I'm
Dave's
in
about
the
to turn
middle.
into the Hulk. He's gonna get angry right now.
I always heard that criticism about that figure, and I was about to purchase it. When I was looking at pictures, I was looking around.
you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Dude, we were messing with it last night in the hangout after the show, and I was like, "Fucking son of a bitch."
Yeah, you're right, dude.
It
I mean,
it looks good. It looks
Yeah.
It
good,
looks
but
good, but like he has that. I mean, you can only do so much with his shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's there. You can move it, but it
And he's
kind of
got that
blocks.
big ass gun, and you can't even make him hold it like this, you know?
I mean, wait a minute. Hold it up and put the arms out. Like that didn't look too bad. I mean, how far out do you need the articulation? He's a big robot.
Well, Brian wants to try to get him to hold the gun.
So it's not so much out, but like
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do
barely
it. You
get
guys
his arm up.
You guys could just
Now getting all smashed. It's like,
Mhm.
and then you can't. So that's it. It's like this. It's basically
Yeah, Titans return Galvatrons like that too, because the fucking cannon's too big. You can't bend the arm.
And I just messed the backpack over.
Actually, I kind of got it, Brian.
No, but that was funny last night because in the hangout, he was like, "Yo, you got me picking up chugs and stuff," and it does sort of relate. Like Gary was asking the question, it was a topic we were sort of discussing before we went live, almost about maybe like looking around your collection, and if you were wondering like, damn, what kind of fucking purchase was that? Like, what was I thinking at that time? But I think just my general boredom, because all I've been collecting, as you guys know, has been the mainline stuff. And now there's that little lull between like new stuff coming out. So, we're browsing the websites and then I'm seeing stuff that's on sale and I'm like, oh, okay. So like I see the Roadbuster and it's $40 and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cheap. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've always wanted that. I'll pick it up. And then I just started seeing like some of the other stuff. And I was like, man, I always wanted to look at that. I never did it. And then you just start looking at the reviews and then I think it just looks cool. And then I'm like, all right, but so yeah, so many years later, because I know this shit is old, but yeah, I like it. I'm digging it. And it sort of got me, I mean, like you guys know, I still collect chugs. You know what I'm saying? I know this is considered like chug stuff. So I'm in, man. I dig them.
Chug life.
Hey, Brian, look, like this.
There you go.
Oh, get the hell out. Hold on.
See?
All right, Dave. Just mail that to me and I'll mail you mine because I can't.
That's it. You just gotta get creative. But that's cool, Dave. That's a nice record shop. So you pretty much, like, as far as from my memory, almost got them all. That's all. That's the whole lineup.
I need a guzzle.
Uh-huh.
Like Brian said, I kind of. They made one, didn't they? No, who did they make recently that came in a double pack with?
MMC just made
the nickel?
Iron Fist. What do they call them?
Iron Fist was the one that other company made, I think.
Yeah, but MMC just put one out as a 2-pack with Brawn. Physitron. Physitron and Iron Fist are the same, right? They're the same. Isn't like one is like his pen name or something like that?
Yeah, well, that one. I didn't buy that one.
I didn't either.
So I need that one, but I think that's it, right? And a cup. I don't have a cup on the record shop. I mean, I know there's
that generation
a few versions that might work, but I just never bought them.
The Generations one with the iGear head, the one that I showed last night on ETR, that was in the
Saigar.
Yeah, I love that shit. That's the one I have on mine.
I've got that, but I think I'm trading up to the Titans Return one.
No, I mean that's a little bit more classic, I think, but it definitely does not look as good as that Generations one.
Is Blur a part of that team?
No,
I never read that story. I never read the storyline with the Wreckers. So.
You know what? There's so many incarnations of it, like that almost a lot of the Transformers at one point could probably say was a member, but I think that's why like Ultra Magnus, I think in a few of the stories, like Dave said, were involved or he was part of the team. You know what I'm saying? They got so many different continuities. TF Wiki, I think, is one of those sites. They basically like lay it all out. They'll have the synopsises of basically every continuity and comic book story. So if you're interested in any particular character, you could always look it up on there, and they'll give it all to you.
Is that the Magnus that had the little guy inside him, Brian?
Yeah.
Little like
Minimus Ambus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't revealed until much later. But hey, so for Dave, I guess you're the only one with a record shelf right now. JD, do you have one?
Kinda, yeah.
I was just wondering, what is your counterpoint to the Wreckers? Like, I always thought I would collect the DJD, and like I'd have them be the evil goon squad, and then the Wreckers would be the good guys.
I mean, that's where I would have gone with it, yeah.
But I decided to fuck it. I'm just building a good guy shelf.
Yo, Gary. You know how you were just saying that Ultra Magnus had a little guy in him?
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why, but I've been thinking. You remember the movie Total Recall?
Yeah.
Maybe you said that I pictured that fucking baby coming out of the stomach.
Oh Jesus God!
God.
Was it Guado or Guado?
Guado.
Oh,
Guado.
Quado.
Quado.
Open your mind.
yeah.
Open your mind.
I haven't seen that in a while. I think they were giving it recently on one of these
Yeah,
movie channels. Yeah. I was getting the free preview on some of these past weekends. It was pretty nice. 'Cause couldn't remember when was the last time I ever watched like regular TV, like flipping through all the movie channels like that. Because like it's like they were all free.
They stopped
cool.
already. It
It
stopped.
stopped. Yeah, some of them. I think I still got HBO, or if not that one, it's one of them. It's one of them. But I don't remember. But it was like 2 weekends ago. It was like all of them. I had all the channels. I was like, oh shit, free preview weekend for all of these.
When was
Jose
that?
kept rewinding the 3 boob chick part.
Oh yeah.
Which ones were real and which one was the prosthetic?
The one in the
middle
middle.
one.
Middle, no.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
Why you ever met somebody with a titty in the middle? Of the
I have
chest?
not. No,
All right.
I have not. No. And if you have, we need to hang out even more often because I'm just curious.
Shit. It's funny you say that, Jose. The other day, I don't have the movie channel,
Mhm.
you know, and I just let it rock all day long. Whatever movie came on, I watched it, whether it was shitty or not. I fucking let it rock, and I was just like, maybe watch about 4 movies in a row on that channel.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
fuck it.
So
I think
I
The
watched.
Thunder was one of them. So.
Oh, really? I like
Yeah.
that one. Nice. I like that movie a lot. I watched the new Hellboy this weekend. That was actually, I kind of liked it. You know, the story was kind of choppy and messy, but I liked David Harbour's version of the way he played him. I thought it was pretty good.
So the
Nice.
stories for that are from different comic books. That's how all of the movies have been bits and pieces from all the different comic books.
Wait, what I just missed? Oh, Hellboy. Never mind.
Yeah, Hellboy.
The 2019 version.
Oh, they tried like a mashup of a few different storylines or something.
So Chan and I can't get past his makeup. Like his makeup it's overdone. It's like over the top.
Sunday night movie kicking off with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Nice.
What do you know about Sunday night movies coming back, Night of Ren? You were born in the 90s, weren't you? Come on. What do you know about that?
And for the past like 3 weeks, he's been Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones.
He's an old soul, that kid, I tell you.
So Gary, with the new Hellboy, like, were you a fan of the old ones?
No, I'm not. I never really only read a little bit of one of the first like omnibus, so I never followed it. I just was trying to find something new, like most of us to watch. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. It was, like the story was, it was super choppy but parts of it I thought weren't too bad. And like I said, I liked David Harbour.
Well, what about the original films? Were you a fan of those or no?
I never saw. I saw it once.
never.
I saw the Ron Perlman one. I saw
Yeah.
in the theater once a long time, whenever it was, like 04. And I don't think I ever saw the sequel for that.
Okay.
It didn't do anything for me back then. So
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them, but I haven't watched those like multiple times, like either. So they're not as ingrained in my memory, like some of these other like superhero movies. But I do remember kind of liking them. But it was just like, okay, like not something I watched over and over. JD, like do you watch the originals? Like, how do you like those compared to this new one? You just sound like you didn't like this new one.
So if nobody knows, like my entire right leg is nothing but Mike Mignola art, which is Hellboy. I've always been a Hellboy fan from like the beginning.
How far up
Ron-
your leg?
Up to my knee, from my ankle to my knee.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I've always been a Hellboy fan, and like those Ron Perlman movies, he's my Hellboy. Like I think the way that they put him together and all that, just the makeup and the way he acts it's like straight out of the comic. But I really appreciate the way that they brought the newest version into more of an adult setting. So he is saying shit and fuck and he's cursing and he's making innuendos and those sorts of jokes.
Yeah,
I can appreciate it. It's
pretty gory.
a little more. Yeah, it's a little more on the gory side. Like I like that they brought it there. But yeah, like I said, I'm a big Hellboy fan, so of course I like him.
I think I may have seen the first Ron Perlman one, but I did go see that latest one in the theater. And me not knowing much about Hellboy, just watching that movie, I almost felt like I was like, considering like every type of possible thing that could happen, they threw in that movie. It was almost like, you know what? We may never make another Hellboy movie again. Let's put it all in here. That's the way I.
That's a fair way, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like a lot of the story though they took, like I said earlier, they took from the comics, and it's bits and pieces from all the different Hellboy stories. There's stuff from the Conqueror Worm. There's stuff from Box Full of Evil. Right Hand of Doom. There's like little bits and pieces, and they did the same thing with the Perlman ones too. They
did.
Yeah, it's just like little bits and pieces out of each of those, each of the comics, and just chopped it up into one big movie.
But the Perlman one had the Humpty Dumpty bad guy, the guy that looked like an egg. Was that him? No, that's Spawn, right?
Oh, the Violator. It's
Violator.
Yeah. John Leguizamo.
For some reason, I just keep picturing him as like an egg dressed up.
I can see that. I can see where you see that.
Because the fat suit he had, he was just short and squat,
Yep.
So it's like, man, Humpty Dumpty fucking took a turn for the worst.
Yeah. See, those homages like to the comic books though, like honestly, like I think like for any comic fan that sees that property, change medium and see it brought to the big screen, like that, I feel like that's all you could really hope for, is to see those homages and that's like the little wink wink, because when they make those things that they're trying to just make it for people way outside that comic book realm. It's supposed to be for the mass audience, and that's why they change shit, because they try to appeal like to everybody. So but it's good. Those movies that I think like were enjoyable. What I'm saying? Like if anybody I think was a fan of Hellboy, I think they were basically pretty respectable movies, especially for like an independent character like that. It's a Dark Horse comic book. It's not like it's a mainstream DC Marvel character. So seems like it's had a success.
I mean, it still has its big following. You know what I mean? There's still a big following with that. And there always was, it just wasn't as mainstream, like you said.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So in regards to that topic, man, like, so basically these fans project purchases, I feel like have been coming out of boredom, I think, based off like what's going on and stagnation as far as like the stuff that I've been collecting lately. Because again, I just said I've been, you guys know I've been into the retail stuff. So that's like, I feel like, oh, okay, like I'm starting to like dig and get back into this like third party. But I'm enjoying these purchases like so far until I run into one that I'm not enjoying. But have you guys been doing the same thing, sort of making boredom purchases? Like what have you guys been getting in lately, and have you had any regrets in what you've been getting so far?
My answer is simple: nothing and nope.
You've been on hiatus?
Sure, we'll call it that.
Shut down.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Well, my purchases were not recent, but it has to go back to, I think, not this year's Toy Fair, but last year's Toy Fair, when they were talking about we talked about those Masters Universe Origins coming out this fall.
Oh God!
And I wasn't really excited about them until Chuck picked them up, and he had some really cool pictures in I think the Mythic chat, and I was like, oh, those look really good, and they were San Diego Comic-Con's exclusives last year, like a He-Man and a Prince Adam, and they had the normal kind of markup after the show, and then I passed on them at NJCC at the end of summer, and now they're like super expensive. And I ended up buying 3 of those wrestler crossovers just because they're the same. At Walmart, like it's the same figure, but they're like wrestler bodies, but they have the weird Masters Universe weapons and stuff. But why did I have to buy 3? I don't know. Like I could have bought 1 just to kind of mess around with it, and check it out. And I ended up, picking up 1, and I was like, oh, they have a ring, and it comes with 2 figures, and it's basically like, getting the ring for free. So that was kind of a silly purchase. I think I was just riding a toy high after moving into the new house, back in the fall, so. And it was in the store, it was back when you could go to Walmart without a lot of headache, right? I was like doing like early Sunday morning, legit household shopping stuff. And, just buying something at the brick and mortar, store at the time. So, but they're not here anymore. I actually just recycled them back on the old eBay a little while ago. So,
people pick them up like they
yeah. I mean, I just priced them cheap as all together, as a little lot, and just put that money back into PayPal to do just what you said. Sooner or later, I'll buy something else, for entertainment.
Exactly. Just keep recycling.
Yep.
That's the thing. I always remember Dust saying that, like, your collection is basically like a credit line, almost. If you think about it in those terms. Like I remember I had to pay some taxes and I needed money real quick, and thankfully I had some nice hot pieces at the time that I was just able to sell, and I got out of my small emergency. So it was nice, But like doing that, I mean, it's got to, it's got to. It's got to do what you got to do sometimes. Anybody else?
I bought this in the store.
What the hell is that? Wait.
Oh God!
It's just a little.
Is that
Batman?
Is that like the
Imaginext
from like or the
Two
kids
and up.
cartoon?
Imaginext.
The one that's like from like Justice League Action or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was in Target. This was before the whole thing, and I was like, man, I hadn't bought anything in months, or a month, I should say. And I went there looking just for the sake of looking, and I was like, well, I might as well just buy this and walk out of the store with it. I mean, I checked it out first in the package. I mean, it's like, oh, look, it's got thigh swivel and knees and elbows. I was like, maybe I'll have some fun with it. And whatever, it's dumb. But seriously though, I bought some things, but they haven't arrived yet. I ended up getting that Perfect Effect Jinrai Optimus, the G1 looking one. I don't know. I was like, you know what? I haven't bought an Optimus in a while, so I ended up getting that, and then I got the Earthrise Optimus, and then
I thought you had that Jinrai already from when it originally came out.
Well, I got the cab where so you could take the cab, and it's one of the 18 add-on sets I have for the Takara.
yeah.
One. So, but then they basically released the cab again with that trailer that transforms into the Jinrai armor, basically.
Oh, the one. Yeah, the one that you guys got me. Yeah. It's nice.
Can't even picture this one.
And
nice.
And then also too, somebody was selling that General Grant Civil Warrior for $115.
That thing looks pretty good.
It does. It's very cool. Perfect Effect, I always feel like is underrated. I always feel like they made like a good product. Have you got the chance to mess with that? What do you think of that one, Brian?
No, it's still in my pile loot.
Oh, okay.
But it was done out of boredom.
Oh, okay.
To stay on topic.
Yeah.
If I look at other things around here that are bought based on boredom, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, again, the shelf commands me to buy this stuff. It's not really out of boredom. Oh, here we go. Here's one. This stupid thing. I was bored.
Like, do I need that?
Yeah. What is it? Double who?
That's
crosshairs.
Crosshairs, right?
So, I was like, yay! I want to. Some site was having a sale. It's like, I need a new chug. I want to mess around with something, and I was bored, and I bought it. And it was a regret.
What Perfect Effect is that? The God Force Warrior? Is that what it is you're talking about?
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. But there's two of them though, because they have one with the black trailer and then the one with the silver trailer. So the silver trailer one, to me, I feel like is more like the Jinrai, of the
Yes.
Gaijin ride, and then the one with the black trailer kind of emulates the movie slash like G1 with G1 aesthetics. But I feel like it's like the Optimus from Revenge of the Fallen when
Yeah,
Jet
he's
when
got
he joined with
flames and
Jetfire. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think if I've got a really good answer for this. Like really good. Out
I
of
think
boredom.
those look pretty cool, actually.
Uh-oh. Gary's gonna buy one.
No, I don't know. We'll see. How long is the show? We got another hour. We'll see.
No, I don't think I really buy stuff out of boredom. I think I mean, I just these couple examples, but they're all things that I definitely want in my collection. I think it's just stuff that I was putting off, and you know, hey, I'm gonna wait for the best price, and blah blah blah, and then you just get bored of playing that game, and you're like, all right, it's just time to step on the monkey.
But that's right. Always love that term. When I mean, that's what it was for me though. It's like, you know, you just get bored, you start browsing, and then it's like when you start seeing the things like on sale, and I'm like, okay, so I'm saving. You know, I got all this for this amount, and I would have paid, you know, $300 normally, and I only paid $150. Like, you know, so that's great.
Dude, I gotta say, I am so thankful that I am not into these movieverse Transformers because I would be in some serious financial trouble right now if I was.
There's a lot going on in that world, though, right?
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Those Devil Savior figures, right? For that, the Devastator.
Dude, I'd be totally in on that for sure. That they've got 10 companies making a Prime. I mean, I just want one. I got the Hasbro one. I think I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, the Bumblebee and what do you call it? Transform Elements getting into it. They're making that Soundwave, and
I thought their B looks really, really good.
Yeah. And of course, you got all the Studio Series stuff too, possibly. But man, yeah, I just I am kind of thanking my lucky stars that I'm not really into that stuff because it would be like 2014 all over again when I really went hog wild. Got a lot of the stuff in this. 14 was it? 2015 maybe. Jeez, been doing this a long time.
And I know the years are just rolling on. This has been a very extended period as far as because like I said, I've always been in and out of it. Like during my life, and I used to have those periods where I would just get completely out. But I think it's the group and this and what we're doing. It's like it just stay in. You know, it's different. But yeah, man, fucking. Those chugs are good, and I think it's something about like the playability of it. Like I know when it came to the masterpiece stuff, I didn't mess with it that much because I felt like they're more shelf pieces if you transform them, and especially for me, like with most most people I know, like if it's in bot mode, it stays there. So
I've been debating over the Earthrise Starscream, Jose, since you showed it like I don't know, maybe like a month ago. And I've not debated over just buying a freaking whatever it is, like a $30 toy, and I don't know how long. I mean, not out in stores, so I was just when I see it like in stock online places, it I don't know, it's the same thing. I'm like, that kind of looks pretty fun to mess around with, and then I never end up buying it. So maybe I'll buy that before the end of the show.
And now they got the other ones coming out. Easy cash grab. I feel weird about those because I feel like, man, they did it just last year with the Siege. I mean, with Optimus, they're gonna do it, but then it's like we just got Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and those Cybertronian modes. Like, nice to get the Earthall mode, too. But it's like you sort of want to get other characters, even though they do give you a lot. I feel like how many characters, and despite the shared molds and stuff that we were all talking about when it was Combiner Wars and Titans Return and all that, you got a shitload of characters.
Yeah, but the way they're sharing stuff now is they're sharing it just like G1 did, right? Where you have the characters that kind of the Ratchets, the Ironhides, and the Seekers, right? Whereas in Combiner Wars, they were making Ironhide transform just like freaking Streetwise or some shit like that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, exactly. A lot of the characters didn't really fit like the
Yeah.
molds. You know, they definitely were stretching them. This is like definitely a huge improvement in quality. You know, just because it's like you said, the characters actually like they are like the characters. They look like the characters. You know, except for maybe that Crosshairs guy one that you were.
Well, I
hoping
don't
for.
know. I mean, I kind of got him. I mean, this guy could be on a wrecker. He could be a wrecker if he wants to. He could wreck some shit. Look, he's got big ass gun.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
You
I
can't
mean,
make the rules, Brian. It's not a wrecker. You can't make him a
Mm-hmm.
wrecker.
I can make him a wrecker if I goddamn want. He's got a hammer. Is that what this is?
Mm. What you were saying about the studio series though, like when I get those, I could definitely see my love is definitely for the G1 like way more, because I like if I take a figure like that out, I mess with it, like I don't get that same feeling like when I'm messing with like the regular generation stuff, you know, like I feel I guess more nostalgic like when it comes to that. The studio series ones, I want to, if I still have the packaging, I put them back in, and it's like, all right, off to the corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So you're just kind of buying them out of necessity, as opposed to.
I think so. Probably like just because it's like some of these might go up. Like I'm buying that Devastator set because it's been so spread out. Like if they put out a box set eventually, like okay, but because it's all spread out, inevitably some of those you're not going to be able to get anymore. You know. So I was like, let me just go in on them, and so I don't regret it later. Basically, if I'm like, I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have picked those up. You know.
Dom, don't you collect this stuff?
Yeah, I collect the studio series stuff because
Oh,
it's just for me. It's just I just enjoy. I enjoy the movies. Not as it's not my like love of Transformers, but I enjoy the movies for what they were, and the studio series really are nailing some of these characters.
Yeah.
Like I wish they gave us not to knock like the Revenge of the Fallen Prime that came out. That was like one of the best primes you can like from the movie's perspective get. Still a good toy, but like certain characters like they I just picked up the Sentinel Prime and it looks like fucking great.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that one. Like when I saw the video, like they get it early, like overseas, and I was like, damn, for what they did with that, the way everything sort of flips in and out, and they made it look pretty accurate to the screen. I was like, yep, that looks good. Looks good.
And the leader cast that came out in Dark of the Moon too was a good toy. So, but like with what they're doing with the studio series, they're all in scale in what you didn't get with the original releases back when they did the movies.
Yeah,
everything was still out of scale.
That's what I love about it too, because that's what they're doing with the generations also. Like the characters are scaling. It's like each class, like the deluxe, Voyager, leader. They have 3 sizes each, so there's 3 sizes for deluxe, 3 sizes for Voyager, and the leaders are basically just the Voyagers with extra shit anyway. So
yeah, I can like from what Jose was saying, like I could see in time as time passed, this movie is considered like these movies are considered some people's G1s. So at the end of the day, as time goes, this would be the line that people would go after if they can't get them in stores or the supply is no longer there. And I'm sure the prices will go up on these. Even the original toys, some of them are really expensive, like still. So there's a fan base. If there wasn't, a third party wouldn't be getting into it. So okay, Dave.
Okay, I'm just.
What about
Dave?
when it comes to the third party stuff? Do you still collect like the MMC stuff, Dom? Like whatever they put out, or
they haven't put out one since this recent one, right?
Since Rat-Bat, I think was, and
yeah, I bought Rat-Bat, and then that's kind of the last one. But then they did this 2-pack. They did the 2-pack. I didn't buy the 2-pack.
What 2-pack?
Well, didn't they just didn't Mastermind Creation? The Brawn and
that came out before the Rat-Bat did.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, because it was already for purchase before TFCon. That was a TFCon exclusive, the Rat-Bat.
Oh, what about the Ravage and the other one?
Oh,
Oh,
the green one, the green one, right?
The Gidget or whatever.
I think that was out too before that too.
Mm.
I'm not sure.
What do they call it? It's
If,
like
when you
part of the
when you say
TJP.
Ravage, yeah.
Nickel.
I picked up those two, but I didn't get this last one, the 2-pack that you guys were just recently talking about. That's
the brawn one.
The brawn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's.
I feel
So
like those
far,
figures are
it's so-
small, but it's the
it's-
2-pack, and it cost, what is it, 120?
Yeah,
110.
110. Like,
It's like, man, I don't want to pay that much for something so little. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
like you bought that fans project. What was it? The fucking Roadbuster, right?
Yeah.
Like that was $80 back. Like I bought it for $80, and now for $40 you can get it. Like it's, that's what hurts.
Well, Dom, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And they still have them on the shelves. It's,
And then that's like the hype was real back then. Like it's all about hype. It's just you just get into it and you fall into it, and then all of a sudden you're buying things. And Fans Project was the top third party of its time, and
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that they were putting out was really good. So
But remember that. Like you just said, how it was back in that time. We all had the fucking fever. Like for this shit, almost buying everything in sight, right? Like that's the era when it's like you had to do it because you didn't know if it was going to sell out, or most likely it would sell out. So you had to go in or pay the late tax as it is still now.
And
Even though with a lot of this stuff, I feel like it's not like that anymore, but you don't see the sellouts as much as we discussed like on past episodes. But in that time, man, that shit was fast and furious.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I remember being one of the first ones, like when an MMC something or a Fans Project or MMC came out, and posting it, and people like, oh shit, that's the coolest, And now it's just like, oh okay, another fucking
dude.
toy,
That's when news was fucking news, man.
Yeah.
but like that's like the Steel Core. Like I remember that sold out like 3 times over, and they kept making it, and then eventually now you can still fucking get one for real cheap when they were going for like, I think like one time they were going for like $300 or something like that.
You can get the blue one.
Well, I know the blue one on eBay is still like
Is it
in the hundreds.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Is it?
It's back up now, but it had dropped for a little bit.
Did it? Like how low? How low?
I mean,
How low do you remember seeing it for?
Can you go?
I think I remember seeing one for like $85 or something.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty. I would say that's pretty
like
cheap.
Dom
for
was saying though, like there was a while there where it was up there.
I remember it was like I went to TFCon Toronto one year, and it just released, and they, I guess ages 3 and up at the time had a few at the show, and literally the first 20 people who were in line like went right to his table to buy that was like the hot commodity of the show back in the day.
I mean,
that's
it
some
looks
good
good.
memories.
It looks good. And then was the trailer like? I know when they dropped that, like after was that?
Yeah,
a
the
thing?
trailer
Like,
was an after thing. Yeah,
Uh,
the trailer and
Yeah.
you
And you know
can
what?
soldier
what
your
else?
people.
Yeah, I mean, like back then too, like toy reviewers, like that was so brand new to me. Like
Mhm.
you would search YouTube and there's like what the big 4 or the big 5, type reviewers that each one's got their own review of stuff, and then you would find people like Evangelist who did it a little bit differently. And I tell you, man, that guy at least got me to buy at least 5 things just based on his video alone.
Yeah, the way he edits and showcases it makes you see the playability almost of the figure, and then it's like, oh, I want that. I want it. Yeah.
Buying that right now. He pushed me over the edge, and it wasn't even his review. It was just how he presented it. Yeah, like again with the editing and everything. Crazy.
His scripts
made me buy that Fans Project Bruticus upgrade.
His scripts were very clever. The way he did transformation was pretty cool. He did a lot of like animation in regards to like the combining, like when he did the transformations and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
It wasn't stop motion, and it wasn't
No,
animation.
It
was
like
how he
editing,
would hold the figure like by the foot, and he would put the camera so that he couldn't see where he was holding it. It was just
his
clever.
camera
It's very
cuts.
good.
Camera
It's very-
cuts is it's very creative. Yeah,
Very.
very nice closed, like tight
Yeah.
shots, and you could just
Yeah.
see just multiple. You know, just
Yeah.
the way he put it together look good.
Yeah, I haven't gone to his channel in years. I wonder if he's still around.
Yeah, I think the like figure reviews like are once in the blue or whatever, but it's still that same sort of style, and it does like the way his way of showcasing a figure. I agree with you, Brian. It does make you want to go in like on some of that stuff, you know. So like even so many years later with like these fans project pieces, like they look cool like in videos like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm picking them up, you know. So. I got that steel core coming, and you know what? For some reason, I always loved this gimmick too of just having like the little guy. When you could put these little guys like in like the cockpit or the seat of a vehicle, you know what I'm saying, or they become part of the robot. That Power Master type gimmick. I was always a fan of that.
Yeah,
Jose,
I remember-
wait till you get that trailer, buddy.
I was gonna say, I remember
The Steel Core
um,
trailer. I'm serious. You know it opens, right?
Yeah, it opens and you could put the men inside.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
I think I only ever had two fans project stuff. I had their Mind White, or the Rat Bat, or whatever. No, the vampire guy, right? With the
Yeah.
wings, which is a cool action figure.
This is the mind wipe.
And then same thing was, I remember when the Dinobots were coming out, like the early ones, and like the Diaclone convention ones were the ones that came with the little pilot guy versus the mainstream release for stuff.
Yep.
And like same thing, Ryan, watching reviews to try and debate. I'm like, the driver guy looks really good. Do I really need it? Back then, because those versions were so much more expensive than the regular.
Yeah, because they sold
main
out
one.
first. Those
Yeah.
those Diaclone versions with the pilots, and those pilots had like magnets on their feet, so you can fucking. It's pretty cool. They were like, I'm telling you, they made good toys. The fans projects.
That was
were
actually one of the
always-
first Kuma style reviews I remember watching. Was on some of those Dinobots back. In the
Yeah,
day.
when they
It was
were
pretty
hot,
cool.
they were hot.
Yeah.
They were hot, yeah.
The Lost like Exo Realm.
Yeah.
figures
Yeah,
that
Lost
they did.
Exo
Yeah.
Realm, yep.
And they had a couple of cheap ones on one of the sites I was looking at. I think like they had one of the female ones for $50, and I almost went in. I might still go in because
I
I'm
bought
like,
both of those female ones.
I got them
got
both.
Yeah.
I got them both still sealed. They're down there behind my printer.
Actually, one of them broke, and she has a glued foot now, but they're both still there.
what do you think of those, Dave? Because I was looking at those. I was like, I was almost gonna throw them in the cart too, and I'm like, nah, let me chill. I was like, let me get
dig
these
'em.
first, see if I like them, and then you like them.
I like them. I like them because they turned into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I always thought that was dope. You know, one's a raptor, and then the other one's what's the other one? Something else. There you go.
Pack,
That one.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're basically the same though, right? The molds look super similar to me.
Yeah, they're a little different, but not by
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yeah, I had delusions of making a Chug Dinobot shelf. So I got the Toy World Dinobots, and then I got those female Dinobots, and I wasn't sure. The Toy World Grimlock is so huge that I did buy a Fans Project Grimlock. Now I think about it.
hmm
I never opened that either. God, I'm an idiot.
Did you buy that one with the throne, or
No.
the regular one?
No, I bought the regular one.
I could just only imagine how much stuff Brian has that he hasn't opened, that he has at home right now. He could just be ripping all that shit open like it's
Well, it's just
Christmas.
like JD went shopping in his own house this weekend, isn't that right, JD?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Went up to the third floor and started digging out some bins because, I feel I need to kind of get rid of some of the shit that we just have here and found a bunch of stuff that didn't really remember having.
That must feel incredible, yo. When you
I could see
that.
I could see JD having a conversation. So how much is this? It's free. It's free? Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Taking
Or
this
it goes
downstairs
the
to
other
play
way.
with.
It's like, or it's just like, oh man, like I remember this. I don't want to get rid. It's
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah,
to sell this thing now.
Mhm.
Just sat for like 2 hours fucking with it or whatever. But yeah,
Gots to go.
pretty much. That I guess I did go shopping this weekend. So
Well, it's just like Gary said, as far as like that topic, like almost like rediscovering your collection. Like, you know what I'm saying? Looking around. It doesn't even have to be something that you didn't like, even though I know we were sort of zeroing in on that particular, topic. But I mean, it's nice, like you said, to just go, like you said, you went up, you opened something up and you found shit that you forgot you had. Like, that's dope. That is like basically getting something brand new. Is this open stuff like that you had, or is it like just like open figures you have in the bin, or boxed up stuff?
Oh yeah, it was all like stuff that we had binned. It was all like opened, but it was packed away like nice and neat, you know what I mean, in bins or whatever. Yeah.
I was reorganizing some of the bins. I mean, I don't got that many. There's a few of them there. But I was like basically like organizing like the third party stuff from the, you know, retail stuff. Some of it was mixed up. Seeing if there was anything, like you said, like worth getting rid of, you know. I had the Old Faithful, like one of those was like the NJCC bin, the one I always had, trying to get rid of the old chugs. Like I still got some of this stuff, man.
There's nothing more sad. Well, no, that's not true. There's a lot more. But seeing a bunch of chugs just kind of tossed into like a Ziploc bag, you know, and sitting on a table, you know, for bargains, it's just kind of a bummer, because at some point that was, you know, a highly respected piece of someone's collection. You know, when you just kind of see them, it's kind of the equivalent of the legends on the, you know, mattress with no sheets on it. You know, sales posts. Chugs always end up in Ziploc bags, I feel like.
Yeah, that's how I store mine when I have them in the bins. You know, like so everything stays together, the weapons and whatnot. No, and that's true, man. That there's definitely a point to that. But then the thing is that time goes on, and then you get better versions, or you know. So that's what's cool, is that, you know, that's what it shows which figures from that time or whatever stand the test of time. You know, is it still something that you thought is good enough that you still want to keep and have in your collection, or do you realize it was shit, or there's just a better version out, you know? So like I got the Generations version of Roadbuster, but I don't like that thing's always been put away. Like I don't ever remember a time when I've like had that out and I've messed with it or whatever. Like it was just I got it, like, because I know I needed the character.
That thing had so much potential. I think but there was some hollowness in the legs or something like that. It's like it was almost there. I think it was missing like a certain piece of articulation. I was like, oh, so close.
And didn't it follow like Springer, which was like one of the best chug toys that you can possibly get.
That's the Generation Springer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him right now. I have him too. Like
that shit is dope.
He's on my record shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a really good one, and then by proxy the Sandstorm, like also because it was the same mold.
Same mold, yeah.
Did you guys get that one too, or I mean,
nah. Sandstorm was never like on my radar.
Got them all.
No.
Got them all, Jose.
I've got that one too. Yeah.
Up until Combiner Wars, you know what I mean? I just pulled a Dom there, but I you know, everybody knows that I just bought everything that came out. Sorry, Dom.
You would have called them Put Together World.
Put Together Wars.
Yeah.
Listen, that's good. Put Together Wars.
Oh, here it is. This Generations Roadbuster.
No, you guys gotta say it's Combination Wars.
There you go.
Right, motherfuckers.
That's great.
What? I have to pass the second number? What?
But Dom, like, do you open any of those? Like, do you open them, mess with them, and then stick them in a tote?
A few of them. But I always say the boxes. So they're all back in their boxes.
Oh, okay.
If there's anyone that I opened up, I put it back in the box.
Which ones are the ones that you tend to open out of the chugs that you buy? Is there just anything in particular, like any particular character? Or?
Yeah, whatever I had the time to open.
Okay.
Before I just piled them up and put them away. So there's a few, like, you know, like I don't think I opened the Sandstorm. I have it, but I didn't open it.
He's fun.
Yeah, man. He's got that kind of like hovercraft thing going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. And I thought the colors on it were pretty good. Just the way they mixed the yellow with the orange, and you know, at least from what I remember, I thought just thought it looked good. And then even with the I guess like the fins. I guess he had like the turbines. That one had
Yeah.
turbines, right? Like I always thought like that looked cool too.
Yeah, he wasn't a helicopter. He was like some modernistic looking thing. It's pretty
But
cool.
like for all the other waves, like for like Beast, like the Beast Hunters and the fucking anime Prime stuff, I always had one open, and then one I bought one sealed to keep in box. So
Mm-hmm.
and maybe another one to keep in box. Like I when it came to Prime and all of that series, I bought a shitload of those because I always thought that was just the show was great, and I thought it was going to be something special. So, and it still is. People still go after those toys.
I know those first edition figures are still,
Oh yeah,
pretty hefty, especially for the main cast. RC or some of those like the Bulkhead. It's pretty up there.
I have a Prime still in the box, I think.
yeah. Like they were sought after when they were
First edition.
when they were out.
Oh, you got a first edition?
Edition,
Dude,
yeah.
Mhm.
I hunted that thing for like a year and a half, and I was like, I am not paying over $100.
I'm pretty
for
sure it's
this.
still up there. It
That's
might
what I
be sold.
paid. But that's what I paid for mine years ago. Was $100 on eBay.
I was
And
like,
every-
I'm not going
and-
over, and I just couldn't find one.
And then at that time, it was like the differences between like overseas and American, and like even the first editions, like the Canadian version is different than the American version. So it's like if you got the American Prime, you have the door. There's a part of the door where it's in like truck mode. It's gray. It's not red, and like people were more sold off to go for the Canadian version and the overseas version because it's a red door. It doesn't break the paint where the American version does. So
Yeah.
it's like all those little different tweaks about the figures between those who was producing them at that time was like crazy because it's like you needed to know that shit because it's like it was the one that was sought after and harder to get, and then finally you realize and you just like looking at your toy and you're like, I don't like that fucking gray door. I want it red.
Yeah. That's
All
what
of
I
a sudden-
thought about the way that second wave of those figures from Prime looked like that. The second version of the Voyager Prime that had it was like the forearms were different. Like it just didn't
Yeah.
look the same. Transformed a little different. I was
It
like,
was
it just.
small, right? Wasn't it?
I think so. I was like, it just doesn't look as good as the first edition Prime. The first edition Prime was the
Yeah.
one that looked like the show.
Yeah, I have that second version.
But like it was the same thing with the Viacons. Like the first edition was like everyone liked, but then like the robots
second
in the
one
skies
was better.
really great.
Yeah,
it was really
yeah.
good.
That one was like I still buy those like when I see it for $15 or less when we
Yeah.
used to go to these shows. The good old days. I miss it.
I remember when those toys used to be at Aldi's. Like Aldi's, was it Aldi's? Yeah, remember the food market? You guys have Aldi's.
Mhm.
The food market for Christmas was selling fucking toys for Christmas, and they had old Transformer Prime toys in there, and they were selling for like $8 a deluxe figure. Back in the day.
Wow.
I got this big one here too. This is like a Voyager or a Leader. I don't know.
Let me see that
And
one.
he's got
Oh yeah, yep. The automation, yeah, with the cannons.
how's it work?
Oh, okay.
It's the button.
That was another thing. I didn't really like to
Yeah,
get the
push
ones that had
There
any
it is.
gimmicks built in.
There we go.
I never liked to get those.
Funny thing is it like
Come
the first edition were more like adult type like look, and then as it went into like the RID and then the Beast Hunter stuff, it just got more kiddish toys and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah. I mean, I do agree. I do agree with that because I do have like that Beast Hunters Prime. There's the
Yeah.
Shockwave is pretty
that's
dope
nice. It's a nice toy, yeah.
from that line. But the Prime, I remember like that one compared to the first edition. I'm like, these are two almost like in two different galaxies at the way they felt like in quality. So I do agree in that.
It happens, but what was it? They were eventually going. I remember I went to one BotCon. And they were trying to talk about how they're going to make deluxe toys a little bigger, but the transformation is going to be a little bit simpler. But you're going to get a lot more plastic, and it never happened. Like it was weird because they were trying to release certain toys like a Bumblebee and a couple of the Beast Hunter characters, and it never took off. And I guess they just dropped it.
It's terrible.
Like a Voyager size looked like a Leader size, but the transformations were very simple. But like it was a lot more plastic that you were getting, and some paint apps.
I remember there was an add-on kit for the Prime bulkhead that always made it look really, really good. I think, wasn't there like a weapons kit or something like that just made that toy look just like awesome.
Yeah, you get there's a weapon kit that gives you the bigger ball for
I think that's what it was.
And stuff like that. But
yeah, those were
always
simpler times.
Yeah. Always, hopefully this, see what this Siege Netflix show turns out to be, and maybe people are gonna, if the show is really good, they're gonna start, going back to the shelves and picking up these toys.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the fact that like all these Wave 1 Netflix figures just basically the Siege repaints. That's sort of disappointing. But I'm hoping the show is good too, because it's another piece of media that hopefully, I guess, revives like interest. You know what I'm saying, in the franchise.
I think it's kind of smart of them to do that, because I know JD, you've mentioned this before. It's like, oh, they're putting this show out, but hey, you're a little late, right?
Yeah.
So might as well just repaint them a little bit and
re-release
get
them.
people to get them again. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely see the logic in it from their business end, but and the mold's already there. But it's just like for me that already bought them like a year ago, it would have been nice to probably get something new. But I'm like the new paint job on the Megatron though looks dope. Like I'm digging that.
When are they releasing that show on Netflix?
I think
this fall,
June. I think they said, unless shit is getting pushed back.
Push that up. You should push that shit up now.
Yeah,
People are at home.
Yeah.
Fuck
But,
Mike.
People are going to be home in June. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's the thing. I think they're just sticking to their original like release date. But I'm hopeful like on the Netflix aspect, because like you always hear like about the shows, right? Like different television shows that maybe had like a season on TV and then it goes to Netflix and sort of gains like a popularity and stuff like that because so many people have Netflix. So hopefully, like hopefully it's something that like if it's there at the top, like when you sign in one day and you see it, hopefully it sparks people to watch it, and if it's good, then you never know, maybe shit blows up again. I guess the thing that holds it, I don't know, that maybe holds it back from mainstream is that it's just animated. You know what I'm saying? Because my girl is the type that because it's animated, she won't watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just that type.
My wife too. You're watching cartoons.
Well, dude, I mean, they're kind of missing out. Like when I kind of got on my anime kick a while ago, it was I was watching it. It was an actual show. I mean, it was just drawn instead of having people.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I agree. They don't know what they're missing.
Finish your sentence, Dave.
No, because Ryan's like, they're missing out. I'm like, I doubt they give a shit.
Exactly.
No, they're missing out on a good show.
Housewives, this is what you're missing out on, dude.
No. Grow up, you fuck.
It's not just because it's animated doesn't mean it's a cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
we get that.
I mean, dude, what if somebody fucking hand drew fucking Sopranos? People would still watch it. Maybe, maybe not. If not, they're missing out.
You get shit like Scanner Darkly, and I don't know if anybody's seen that movie.
That was it was a live film, but sort of done where it looked like it was drawn.
It was, yep, it was drawn. Or they used like CG or whatever. Yeah, it was somehow it was animated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't see that, but I remember like from now you just mentioning it, what comes to memory is that like I feel like it was something where they had the live actors do it, but they put like an overlay over like the real shit to make it look sort of
what's it called? What's it called, Gary?
Rotocasting.
There you go.
It's like the Lord of the Rings movies where it's an inexpensive form of animation because you're not really drawing.
It's very stylized and kind of out of the normal of what you would think of something animated. You know what I mean? They could kind of have that creative freedom to do whatever.
Okay,
but still put the actors in there.
Interesting. Yeah. Dave, with the I know since you still basically collect that MMC stuff, which is basically still chug. Do you have anything like in the pipeline? Is there any pre-orders? Are you still doing that at all? Like, are you just grabbing shit when it
No.
comes?
Yeah, I mean, if MMC came out with something, I'd probably pick and choose what I'd want from it. I haven't been picking up everything they throw out like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I might go back and probably get that finish that the DJD team with that set. I never bought, but I think it's still available. Pretty sure.
Which ones Which ones were you missing?
The Ravage and the
Oh, okay.
Gidget, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
Dime.
But I mean, if we're talking about Transformers solely, there's really nothing like on my direct radar right now, except the Fansway stuff that's slated to come out this year.
Okay.
That's about it.
So Masterpiece, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say the fans' toys discussion. That sometimes I look at that Astro Train and I'm like, I'm pretty excited, and other times I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if there'll be a better one ever, but I'm like, it just looks really, really complex, and I don't know.
Hey, Gary, what did you say that term was? Rotocasting?
Mm-hmm.
So I Googled that. That's a way of like making a mold.
Hold on.
No, you're right. There's another. What is it? Give me a second. That's like casting.
Yeah, that's like casting like objects.
Roto casting
Yeah.
is when the mold actually rotates,
Yeah.
Right.
No, hold on.
and
That's
you get a hollow
it's an
mold. Like
animation.
vinyl is done that way.
Rotoscoping
Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
describes the process of manually altering film footage one frame at a time.
There it is. Yes. Yes.
That's what it is.
I pulled a Dom as well. It's
Rotocasting, right, Gary?
sure, see? now we're all gangsters in the 20s.
Dave, I saw what you look like you were like painting earlier. I know you've gotten really
Yeah,
like
rotoscoping.
that,
Yeah.
like lately. With the customizing, is that something that's taken like a little bit more of your focus
Yeah,
now than the toy collecting?
100%. Like, I've been buying basically like junk toys recently. Like, I'll go on eBay and literally spend probably like 2 hours shopping for like bullshit, like $10, $15 toys that are like, either McFarlane Spawn stuff or just stuff that's like 1/12 scale, like armor, weapons, stuff like that. Sometimes you just lucky to find pieces in like lots, and they don't even know what it is, so none of it's worded out. But I've been doing that because what I did the other day is I bought a $12 Spawn toy that I tore apart, and I literally tore him to pieces. I ripped off patches off his elbows, his knees. I took all his weapons that came with him. He had a mask that came with him, and I probably added him to a Mythic Legion head that I had painted, like a custom head that doesn't come factory. You buy it from one of these guys that do these custom heads, and I just been having fun with it. So that $15 toy, I basically did this with a Mythic Legion figure with him. You see that hood that came with that toy, and it worked with that head, right? The shoulder pieces came off that toy.
Nice.
And I just had to paint them to match his body a bit,
Okay.
So it's kind of like upgrading my mythics. So to speak.
That looks good. Can you hold that up again? So the shoulder pads and the hood that's on the head came from a McFarlane figure, and you repainted it.
I repainted. Well, the hood I really just had to touch up a little bit, but the hood was basically came like that. The neck piece was just some leftover fucking leather pieces that I had that I basically chopped up, and then the two armor pieces, the shoulder pieces, the pauldrons, I ripped off that figure, and I still have his weapons and other like little skulls and stuff that he had wrapped all over his body. He comes with like a skin bag, like JD would like that, like a meat bag, skin bag, which I could use either for this figure or another one.
Hey, it's a meat bag for the meat bags.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Hey Dave, next time you pull apart a Spawn figure, can you just tag Mr. McFarlane in it and show him how you're cannibalizing all this stuff?
This is what your toys are good for.
But that looked really good. Like it actually, those pieces that were like on the shoulders and even like the hood, like on the head, like it actually looked like it came with that figure.
so-
What do you do? You glued those pieces on the shoulder or something? Or
yeah,
is it
pretty much. I
removable?
glued them.
Okay.
But you see, that's the figure. Like you see, he's pretty much a statue,
Mhm.
and I ripped him to pieces. So
salvage what you can.
yeah.
Nice, man. Dude, that's crazy because how good that looks. Like I remember, like Bobby showing you some of that stuff when we were at his house last year,
Mhm.
and like in the basement, and he was like showing, "Hey, it's easy. You could do this," and you're like, "No, I'm not that talented. I can't do that." Was that the beginning? Like, was that sort of like the start to all this shit?
It not necessarily. I mean, I did learn from that.
Mhm.
So I learned how to dry brush the right way, because
Mhm.
what I thought of dry brushing was basically dipping it in paint and then lightly brushing it. I didn't know that you had to brush all the paint off of the brush. So I'm glad I never really did it until he showed me.
Mm-hmm.
But what he taught me, I did use first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not until you start actually painting these heads and getting really detailed with them, like once you start doing eyeballs and shit like that, it's like, damn, like this is getting tough. You really got to pay attention. You just can't slap on paint. onto it. And it's fun. It's been fun. Like, it's been keeping me busy, it's keeping my mind, elsewhere. Before I used to scour the Facebooks for more toys. Now I'm just scouring for pieces and stuff for my toys,
Yeah.
So it's cool. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think that with this line, the possibilities are just endless. Like really, you can just do what you want with them. Like,
So I have a
you
question.
don't really have to keep like Gary. You were like this.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
a question. So for you and JD both, 'cause I think you do this. Obviously, you're both use all this. Do you keep all your fodder organized? Like, do you have like, hey, these are like these body? No, I'm being serious. Like weapons and body parts, and within the idea that you'll never know what you might be able to salvage or reuse from something.
So-
Absolutely.
It's funny. Like you get like when I do shop, I'm like, oh, that piece would look good. So in specific, that figure I bought, I only bought for the weapons. I didn't know that it had all that other shit with it. I didn't know the mask was going to work with this or anything. So I just bought it for the weapons because the weapons alone, like if you buy these weapons and buy them from these guys that cast the plastic and you have to paint them yourself, you're paying like somewhere like $7-8, $10 for a decent sized weapon. So to get 3 or 4 for $12, I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. And then once I had it, I started actually like realizing that this figure has so much more potential. And then like I think I was like halfway done with this yesterday, where I just put the mask on and the neck piece, and I'm like, holy shit, I wonder if those shoulder things come off him. And I would just like tear it a little bit and then it would pop right off. So then I started saying that would fit on him. Let me go see how it works, and me and JD sometimes we bounce ideas off each other. Also, Alex Riggs and Mike Wells, like and Eric, like they're constantly customizing figures. So we all like we'll just shoot each other a message. We're like, you like this? What do you think of this? So it's constructive.
So what's been your biggest your biggest surprise source of accessories? Like you mentioned Spawn stuff, right? And I think we know, and some of the Toy Biz, Lord of the Rings, our other lines that fit that. But is there any other kind of like off the wall, that you've like, hey, this is a silly figure, but it has this piece? Like I know, Chris has always talked about buying figures for the accessories. If they come with like a couch or like furniture or something he wants to use for a dio,
Right.
some pretty creative purchases. That's like, hey, I bought this whatever because it came with a dresser.
I mean, I hate plug-in, but I might as well. He does watch the show. There's a customizer we had on the show, Jeremy. Remember?
Mhm.
So he has a podcast, and it's like a Facebook Live podcast. He's going to YouTube now on Wednesdays at like 7:00. So I usually watch it, and based on some of the recommendations he says, then I know because he's been into this for 4 or 5 years in, so he knows what he's shopping for. So he'll recommend certain lines. Like there's a new line called Hero, not a new line, but Heroes of. It's like a Warcraft line. You know what I'm talking about, JD? What's it called?
I can't remember what it's called. Weren't we just talking about it?
Yeah, I don't remember it, but basically he's telling me they sell KOs of it. So if you're gonna rip them apart, buy a KO of it from China for $20, and you can't lose out. So that's a line I'm looking to get into. But like you said, Gary, it's mostly the Lord of the Rings and the McFarlane stuff that I've found match pretty well because it's all like that same tone. You know what I mean?
got
It's all that battle damaged armor and ripped cloths and stuff like that. So
Like the sculpt is there.
yeah.
It's not clean.
What company made those Lord of the Rings figures that makes it work so well with the Mythics?
That was Toy Biz.
Oh, Toy Biz? Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, predecessor to the Marvel Legends.
No, but it's nice, like doing that, dude. Because I could tell, like you're enjoying it, and it's just another aspect of the hobby, like what Chan and JD do, like what Chris does, with Crashbox, like just sort of discovering maybe like a love for something that you might not have ever known you would have had a love for, like doing it. So it's nice. It adds another aspect, to collecting.
It does, and you like it pushes your creativity a bit too, because like myself, like I never once thought I'd pick up a paintbrush and paint the toy. Like I always fucking said you're nuts to like JD and Alex used to he's been doing this months before me, and I'd be like, dude, I'm never doing that. I'm not ruining a toy. But when you realize that this toy is one of 10,000 of them, it's like, you know what, this thing's for me. I'm gonna make it look how I want to look. And then when these guys are coming out with these custom heads and stuff, and it just makes you think outside the box a little more. Like, I want to fucking do that. So like I did something the other day. I'll show you guys. I did a pig. So I just thought it was funny to do a pig, and I didn't want to do him in a standard color. And I think Gary would appreciate this because he's into his eccentric colors. So I basically colored him orange with brown spots, and I did a brown spot over his eye. I did brown spots on his body, and that's like something like, dude, I would never do that, but like, he looks cool. He's probably not the toughest guy on the shelf, but
Yeah. That's awesome.
Damn,
So
dude,
what
look at
color
you.
was that originally?
this it comes like this. Jose, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, you have like have one.
It comes like clear.
Oh, okay. So you completely
Yeah.
painted that.
And
Wow.
then like the body, the fat body, it's just clear blue or green, a greenish tint.
So you just buy those in pieces and put them together, paint them and put them together. Wow.
Yep.
Are those any
So-
cheaper since you have to do the stuff yourself? Like,
Not really, dude.
No.
Like honestly, the torso, that fat body torso is like $30,
Wow.
and the head's like another like 12, 15.
that's
So that's a figure right there.
Yeah, that's sort of like a lot to throw in on the off chance that you might fuck it up or whatever. But I guess you
True,
could
though.
I guess
Yeah.
repaint it over and over. Like, are there techniques to, like, if you paint it, you could take the paint off relatively easy and not mess up, I guess, the base plastic?
If you're quick enough, yeah.
Yeah. If you're quick enough, there's been times where like I'm like, oh, this is awful, and you gotta either run and rinse it off or wipe it off if it's not too much.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, it's what's tricky, and JD, you can confirm to this, is like sometimes you paint something and it's not until it dries that it really gets the effect you want. I mean, you
Yep.
can tell kinda, but
You can
sometimes when it starts drying, it's it's like fuck, like it's a little too late.
Yeah. Is it? I guess you can't paint over that stuff too much, right? Like if you fuck up, like the way like maybe JD would do with fixing somebody's fucked up tattoo
you
or something.
can, you
Go
just gotta
over
keep
it,
your
like-
paints. You gotta keep them thin.
Okay,
You gotta
Yeah.
water them down a little bit, keep them thin, because if you just plop it on,
it's
and
gonna
it
look like
dries, it's
too
just
much,
gonna- you're
right?
gonna see
Yeah.
It gets
And
all
like-
gunked up, and you'll see paint strokes and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. And
Mhm.
and when my first 2 or 3 things that I painted, they were like that. You know, you
Yeah.
see it. Now, not so much. Not as much. Because now I know what I'm looking for. No, you know.
You've discovered like techniques to like avoid something like that happening, like
Well-
because I remember like you said, like I got into like the painting a little bit too. I think last year or maybe the year before when those with the Unrustables, because they had those little guys and you could just paint them up. And I remember doing it for some of them, and some of it I liked, but some of it I felt like came out like you just described, where it looked gunky or it just didn't look clean, like the
Mhm.
paint. You know?
Yep.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to look nice, you can't use cheap paint though either.
Yeah. No, I had the. I mean, maybe what I considered the expensive stuff, because I was just googling, okay, best paint to use, like and
Mhm.
it's whatever it is. I forget what the brand is, but I think it was probably the most expensive kind that for those little, few ounces of paint that they give you. Because I know like Chris buys the 50-cent bottles of paint like at Walmart or something like that, and I know you could use that, and the stuff like comes out pretty good. But I was buying the shit from Amazon because I don't got like an arts and crafts like around here, and some of those things were like $5 a pop for like a little thing like this,
Yep.
So
Yep.
I got all the supplies, and I haven't done it in a while. So now, like I see Dave doing it, I'm like, but maybe on a weekend or something, just look for something that I won't mind fucking up, and then just go to
I
town.
mean, I did a show about it the other week. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took the figure banging time
Yeah.
slot. I did not watch it, but I knew you did a show, but I didn't.
Yeah. But I went through like a lot of the process of it, like priming it and painting it and all that,
Hey Dave, could you use this figure?
Yes, you could.
That's the one. That's the one that they sell a KO of. Exactly that figure.
All right, I'll put him in a gift box for you.
Why,
They
you
had
don't
those-
want 'em?
No,
They
I
had
don't
those
want
super cheap on BBTS at one time.
I bought it. I traded it to some guy
So,
at NJCC.
You could
First
you
one.
could basically essentially even use the legs and wrist, the wrist and hands, pop right into a Mythic Legion if you work it a different way.
Now,
Yeah.
what's that from? That's a
That's that Heroes line that
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if anybody else is getting a little nervous on the show here, listening to Dave talk about body parts and how easily things could be dismembered and dismantled and repurposed
Gary,
with value.
dude,
It's
if you're feeling stressed out because you're not working out, get yourself a cheap fucking toy and rip it to pieces. It's the funnest, most
interesting.
stress relieving thing in
I have
the
to
world.
keep that in mind.
I was up at like almost 2 o'clock in the morning last night doing that, and I was just ripping more and more pieces off this dude. I'm like, yeah, I could use this too.
And you're just finding that stuff on the internet, just searching McFarlane stuff, Spawn, and just picking out a figure that looks interesting. Really?
Well,
No, you just search on eBay. Is it mythic?
Yeah.
And then you get it.
no. A lot of it is from seeing other people's work and the recipes and
Okay. Yeah.
not necessarily always knowing where they got their pieces from, but it's exactly that. It's just searching, like looking and like
Mhm.
just looking up like 1/12 accessories,
Mhm.
and then you'll find stuff. I did last night. I bought something for like $7, and it's a bunch of shit. Like honestly, like a bunch of bullshit.
Mhm.
But there's 2 pieces in there that will fucking upgrade one of these things to make it look so much cooler. So for me, $7 is worth it. To
Yeah.
keep busy,
You'll toss that away on a fucking breakfast that won't mean
But
shit.
that's just it, Jose. Like I used to spend fucking, I still do. It's not that I don't, but Hot Toys will come out, cost $300.
Mhm.
I have 6 boxes of junk toys that come in for like $45, and that's keeping me more busy than the Hot Toys is. The Hot Toys is I'm gonna open it,
Mhm.
look at it, stare at it for a few hours, and then put it up.
Yeah.
These things I'm gonna fucking open them up, rip them up, keep either use most of it and then not use it, go back and look and say, oh shit, I forgot I had that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or say when you start ripping it apart, you say, oh, this will work for this. And you run back to something else. You know, so it's cool.
That's nice. See, and you're getting more enjoyment out of something that you're spending less money on, I guess, basically.
Yeah,
And
Nothing wrong with that.
and it's an outlet for creativity, like the way you just said, because you said you painted that ogre looking thing, and you said it was something that you never would have done before. Like, so that's interesting, man.
I would never do it, dude. Never.
Yeah.
Pick up a paintbrush or buy paint? No way. Now I
Yeah.
can't get enough of it. I'm like, half of my bottles are dry. You know, that's another thing too. It's like I don't have like a real like paint dish or anything, so I'm just using whatever fucking cardboard and the paint
Bathroom
I'm
cups.
just using so much paint because it's just seeping through and drying too fast. So I'm trying to be really frugal with how much paint I put. But sometimes these fucking bottles get stuck. And if you squeeze too hard, they fucking splatter all over the place. And then, what am I gonna do? You know?
I just try to remember some of those techniques I think I remember from school back in the day, you know, and they were showing you how to paint and shit. And it's just always like having like a little thing of water there to clean your brush, right? You always have a little cup of water, dip your brush in there to clean it, and then
At school, they taught me how to paint with my fingers. I remember that.
Dude, I remember one time the teacher was it was Judy Torres, you know, the freestyle singer, Dave. Judy Torres. She was my a teacher in junior high.
She was your teacher?
A music teacher, and she did like arts and crafts, for a year. And
Brian,
me and another student. Yeah, me and a student did the same shit, Brian. Fucking just put paint on a bunch of fucking paper and just with our hands were just like.
I was referring to finger paints. Yeah.
You bring something up though, like so. You know, being home this whole time, Chloe's usually at the same table I am a lot of the time, and she's starting to draw and paint, and she's 3 and she's coloring really good. Like I'm talking about in the lines,
staying in the lines.
Yeah,
all right,
I'm like,
good.
Shit, and she's like, "Daddy, what you doing?" And she's watching me, you know. And she's like, "Could I do it?" I'm like, "No," but you can do it over there. If you your own shit to do, you can do
it. Yeah, just give her some bullshit to fucking paint or whatever, you know. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I mean, I remember it being fun for that little amount of time that I was doing it for like those few weeks, just, you know, painting little different things and weapons and like small figures. And then I just sort of put the stuff away and I never like got back into it. So maybe pull some of that stuff out. Like it's nice.
It really gets fun when you're boiling and popping figure parts and then just making up whatever, you know, like different legs and different arms and just adding all that stuff.
How long before you start carving shit up, Dave? Like, you know, like you're pulling shit apart, but now like when you get the X-Acto knife and you start shaping,
dude,
you've been doing that? Oh, you've been doing that too?
Been doing that.
Nice.
X-Acto knife fucking box set right here, dude. with 3 of them. This is the X-Acto kit I got right here.
How many times you cut yourself?
I haven't yet. But I did fuck up. I did fuck up the table that I'm working on right now. I cut a fucking little, not a cut, but I got a nice little scratch in it, like an asshole, because I went, you know, I was doing it actually before we got on live, and I was cutting something, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I shouldn't have did this now. I should have had something stronger underneath. It went right through. So
yeah, no, you gotta watch it because I picked up a couple when I was doing the Gundam kits for a little bit, just you know, scrape off the the parts where you take them off the sprue. I was trying to, you know, get my shit on when it came to that, and I thought I was doing a great thing. Like, oh, you know, that's customizing. I'm fixing it. You know, it won't look like shit by the time I'm done. But I remember, you know, you just catch that little snag. Sometimes you just like because they're so sharp, that shit just goes right through you. So you just be careful. Be careful.
One of the things that I've done, I don't have a workspace either, but I'll just save cereal boxes, and you just cut them up right down the middle, and you unfold them, and you got yourself a pretty good workspace.
Dude, that's good. I like that. I have tons of cereal boxes downstairs.
There you go.
Do I have to eat all the cereal first?
Well, no, the cereal's in bags, so you can just
Yeah.
keep the box, the bags on the side.
You get 3 boxes of cereal that are half done. You know what I mean? You can
Well, that's
put
another
them all
thing.
into the same box, and there you go. You got 2 new
Chloe
workspaces.
likes to do that. She puts like 4 different cereals in her cereal bowl and eats them at the
You
same
serious?
time.
Oh, wow.
I think I never went more than 2.
I don't
cereals
think
at a
I've ever
time.
mixed cereal before.
I think I've done it with
high
like
as I've
Fruity
gotten,
Pebbles.
I've never done it.
Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles. I think that's what I used to do when I had them.
Really? Oh,
Freight, fruity and
And
cocoa.
And Cocoa Pebbles.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's a
Yeah.
party in your mouth
Yeah.
for sure.
it's like a chocolate covered strawberries.
I don't know. I mean, I mix shit from time to time, but that's only because it's like, oh, this box has got half a bowl of cereal left in the bag, and well, I just put it whatever else I got on top of it.
Even if they're completely like different, totally
I mean,
opposite.
dude, in my house, there's stuff's not totally completely different. Like it's either Cheerios or Special K with the strawberries.
You got the old faithful. The old
Yeah,
faithful.
well, what else do I get from time to time? Got
Honey Bunch of Oats.
I got some Crispix the other day.
Oh, I haven't
Well, a
had
couple
that
months
in
ago, I
a
should
long
say.
time.
Yeah. But yeah. I got something downstairs, something I haven't tried. Oh, dude, there's this Life. Dude, Life cereal.
Life cereal.
Yeah, dude, I haven't Life cereal's good, man.
I'm a sucker for the like my cereals of choice would be the flavored checks.
Hmm.
So like cinnamon, or they make a blueberry that I just tried that was really good. They do a peanut butter. They're so good. But before that, it was strawberry shredded wheat with chocolate milk.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
So you got the healthy and the bad stuff at the same time.
Yep.
Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran, I like.
Dude,
Raisin
that's what
Bran.
I
Raisin
like.
Bran is awesome too.
Yeah.
I saw the look on
Like
Gary's face when I
Raisin
said
Bran
that. He-
crunch.
I just the combo sounded kind of interesting. I thought
Yeah.
more was like the chocolate
Oh,
milk.
fucking cereal. Man.
You know what pisses me off though? We're on cereal subject. That they don't come with toys anymore for the kids.
Yep.
Because that
No?
was for me. That was a huge selling point.
Mhm.
Like I used to just, well, that one comes with remember the squiggly octopus that used to throw at the refrigerator and used to climb down itself,
yeah.
or the fucking submarine the submarines that they used to come inside the cereal box.
Mhm.
Man,
You dig to the bottom before you even poured yourself a bowl of
Yeah,
cereal.
exactly.
Yeah, I remember. So they said, I mean, I don't buy like cereal like a lot, and if I do, I get the ones that come in the bag now. That's like the lower
Yeah.
end brand, but it tastes just
Malto
as
meal.
good.
Yeah, dude,
Yes,
Malto
the
meal.
Malto meals. Yep.
Yeah, they taste the same.
It's
I buy
still
the
good,
same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know the difference. Like when you buy like off-brand stuff, if it tasted any different, I'd be like, nope, I'll just buy the real shit.
Yeah.
But that tastes just as good. So
Yeah,
I'll
the
buy it.
Fruitios taste the same as Fruit Loops.
Yep.
Oreos.
Fruitios.
Yep. You get more of it in a bigger bag, and
Yeah, Cocoa Roos instead of Cocoa Puffs, but it's the same shit.
Cocoaroos.
It says if it's in a bag because it saves you money. So yeah, okay, yeah.
I love me some cereal, but I'm so lactose intolerant these days. Fucking next day I'm hurting. I'm either farting or shit. So like fuck.
Yeah, I think that's me too, man. I mean, but it's not with regular milk. It's only like with its chocolate stuff. I feel like that happens, So. Well, alrighty, guys. Great discussion. Really awesome. We're coming to the 9:30 mark, so let's wrap it up. We'll continue on broadcast it as we always do. I'll throw out a link out there to the people in the Realm Collectors Facebook group. Anybody watching, listening, you want to come hang out? Come hang out. Shout out to the chat squad. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Really appreciate it. Let's run it. What do you say? Let's go around the yard and get somewhere you at, and we'll call it a night. So, Dominic, I'll start with you, brother.
You can find me in the Facebook groups Dominic Grasso, and here Tuesday nights with these awesome guys.
Oh,
Oh, you're so nice.
it sounded
Oh.
very sarcastic.
bullshit.
Everything out of my mouth sounds sarcastic.
With
I
these
got that tone.
awesome guys.
Mm,
It's like
It's the pause.
I'm kidding.
Slow
It's like I'm kidding.
pause.
You know. All right, G Money.
Yeah, so I will be here on Tuesday nights with you guys and Gary Allen in the Facebook groups. Work.
All right, JD.
we're just gonna make it simple. Every Tuesday night here, every other Wednesday on Figure Banging. And
Today's this week?
Shelf Gravy.
This week?
No,
No,
this
this
week
last
is not a shelf or a Figure Banging week.
Are you doing another show, JD, tomorrow?
I don't know.
I was about to ask,
Really?
is that going to be a thing? Is that going to be a thing? Every other week? And figure
Maybe. I don't know.
Let's make
I
it a
had some ideas, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll put something up. Last time it was like a last minute thing, and Dust helped me out and all that shit.
Okay.
So
And
we'll
Dustin
see.
was on vacation too. You
Yeah.
need someone to push the button.
I mean, yeah, I could help out and stuff. Let me check out the ratings for that last show, and then we'll discuss.
It actually did pretty well.
It was good. It was good.
initially. Like I don't know. It was like it's 140 some views, like live views.
All right.
So it actually did pretty good. I didn't check it recently, but that was like right after.
All right,
I was
sweet.
like, holy shit, there's a lot of people watching us.
Oh, well, if you want, I could always, help you set up and shut down. You know what I'm saying? It's never a
Fair
problem.
enough. Cool.
All right, Brink.
Yo, hey Dave,
Yo,
I tore his pauldron off by accident. Is that all right?
it's okay. You wanted to see if it could come off, huh?
Yeah, and then yeah, I guess
Bro,
it was,
do me half the work. You can just tear them apart. Go ahead, do it. Release some stress, dude.
all right.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
a giant. I'm gonna rip your arms off.
yeah. You can
Oh.
find me here, proposing topics that don't get chosen.
Ooh. Listen,
That's-
I came in. I didn't do my homework for this show tonight, but I'm glad I didn't because I think we all had a great discussion. I mean, I
Absolutely, my
enjoyed it.
topic sucked.
I enjoyed
anyway.
I enjoyed it. We'll save it. We'll bank that for next week, as we say. We'll bank that for next week. Look forward to that one, guys. I still wanted to discuss the I think the
made you
one
the
Dom brought
BTM
up.
police, Dave?
Hey, dude, don't make me to be the bad guy.
Next week. We always got next week. Yeah. Well, maybe. All right. Dave,
What was Dom's topic you want to talk about, Jose?
there was something about like the retailers and because of everything that's going on and pre-order. Did we get into that?
That's Brian's. That's
Yeah, that's my
Brian's.
topic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about Dom's topic.
Hey, look, I'm not talking about this. You guys want to do this now?
No,
What's up?
dude,
Whoa.
I was fighting for you, Brian.
No,
I'll get a
listen.
refill on the drink, take a piss. Let's do this.
All right, if you're ready to go, we're gonna record a verbally challenge. And-
No, I gotta
Sign off here.
log back into
Gonna
work
sign off.
after this.
Oh,
If
it's
you
all
want
right,
to buy this topic, if you want to buy Brian's topic for any other show, if you should. Brian,
Listen,
that was
verbally challenge will accommodate what BTM isn't doing for Brian. You see, this is what we're gonna have to do. We'll discuss it. We're gonna have to take your topic to another show because
This
you're not
just
getting any
became-
respect here.
Super cutthroat, didn't it?
highest
My own
bidders.
show.
Taking highest bidders.
Go to another show with backjack and hookers.
Yeah, and blow.
In fact, forget the topic. Yeah.
All up in the crawl space.
Did he let the good people know where they could find you, Brian?
Yeah, Brinkalizer on Instagram and here. And in the Facebook groups occasionally. I finally played with toys. Dave was proud of me. He said I should play with toys more. But I posted a picture for the first time in
Yeah,
forever.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's I
The
decided
the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, man, it's got
book.
me. It's the last 2 episodes, they got
Yeah.
me.
Nice.
Ahsoka is becoming one of my favorite characters.
So
Just out of the
good.
blue, just fucking.
Out
Dude,
of the
man.
blue.
She's got style. She's got grace, and she's got a.
Styling, please.
She's
For all
got,
the
All right,
ladies in
Madonna.
the place with style and grace, allow me
she's
to
got a good head on her shoulders. So I like the way she
Oh,
I like the
you
way
could've
she
made
thinks
that-
things
Is
out.
that the?
You could have
Is
made
that what
that
they're called?
rhyme. Like she got style, she got grace, she got an orange face.
Is that what they're calling those body parts now these days? Style and grace.
She's got an orange face.
Yep.
Dude,
Face too.
that's kind of gross, Tom. Like we watched Ahsoka grow up, man. You can't be thinking like that. That's just strange.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, Dave.
Oh, Brian, I know who you are.
Anna John Addict on Instagram, David Cologne on Facebook. Here on Tuesdays. Thanks.
All right. And that's for myself everywhere on social media at Harrican BX. Check out Verbally Challenge with Harrican BX. Another new episode coming tomorrow, 2-year anniversary, basically this week. So really appreciate the love and support, guys, on that. Crashbox Customs on social media for your Mezco and diorama needs. If you mention the word realm when placing an order, you'll get a surprise gift with your purchase. And don't forget to check out the other shows on the Cool Table. You can find the Cool Table page on Facebook along with links and information on all those other great podcasts. And don't forget to check out MPSB Theater Friday nights. Nick, I'll hit you up. I'll help you out too if you need it. Friends of the show, Nerds Have Spoken. Check them out. New episodes drop Thursday. Audio, YouTube, and check out the Total Package podcast with the Ladies of the Realm. There's a bunch of others out there. If you're in the realm, you'll hear about them. Once again, thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. Stay safe out there, please, and we'll see you guys next week. All right.
Cool. Everybody have a good week.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace. I don't know if I'm going to play the right video.
Say it with me now.